Hello everybody, welcome to The Walking Dead Always Accountable episode recap. My name is James Turnipseed, I'll be your host. Description: Daryl, Abraham, and Sasha encounter many obstacles and a new threat while trying to return to Alexandria. So it starts off with Sasha, Abraham, and Daryl. It's all Abraham, Daryl, and Sasha episode. Starts off with them still hoarding the zombies, making sure they got them far enough away where they're supposed to be to turn around and head back to keep them away from Alexandria. So as they break off, they go down and they get ambushed, but apparently these people don't know how to shoot for shit and can't shoot Daryl on the motorcycle. He keeps leaning like this and silly shit like that. I'm kind of concerned about the viewer rate for this season, but what can you do? So Daryl rides off on his motorcycle. Sasha and Abraham wreck their car actually and get out with their machine guns and fire into the car that was shooting at them. They kind of shoot first, ask questions later kind of mentality, which is kind of weird, but okay. So yeah, nobody survives that except for Sasha and Abraham. Daryl ends up giving the truck that's following him the slip by hiding in bushes pretty much, and then when the car drives off, he goes back into the forest. The forest is all burnt. We find out later why. He actually rolls up on two girls in like tank top kind of clothing, and they're like, we earned what we took, and then he gets whacked in the head with a branch by some dude. Yeah, they're at a campfire scene, and Daryl keeps going in and out of consciousness, so it goes like blurry and then black and then blurry and then black and blurry and black, and they're talking but you don't really catch any of the conversation. They have him tied with his hands, they're walking, they're making him drink water. Another girl, Tina, I didn't catch the other girl's name or the dude's name, which is funny because they're the only two that survive. They have a gun and a duffel bag, and they have Daryl's crossbow. He hit his motorcycle conveniently next to. They had a funny scene. Is Daryl with the bike like in a wreck, kind of, so the bike's on its side. He's like, ugh! And then there's this dead zombie that's burnt in the motorcycle helmet next to him. They've been doing this weird thing this season where zombies are silent, and then it's like jump scares, but with them being silent and like, oh, it's a dead zombie. Oh no, they're not dead. So we don't learn who the new threat is. A man named Wade, and he looks like a sheriff cowboy kind of get up. They just showed him from the waist down, and he just had on some like fit bootcut jeans, and they get into not a standoff with the group that's with Daryl, with the three people. They're kind of ducked behind because Daryl did a move. I forgot exactly how. Somehow the group got distracted. Oh no, I remember. They go to what looks like where Daryl was, but I don't think same place, with the wolves. Remember, he got trapped with Aaron when they were scouting, and Morgan saved them. So it's kind of like a warehouse. They go to like a warehouse, and there's a couple of zombies, and they're like, Patty. And then they kind of like, I guess their plan was to get Patty in and get out, but they just see zombies, and they kind of maybe. And then the girl Tina is saying that you guys can go back and say it was my idea. So clearly there's a new threat called Wade or a new group terror. With the comic book, you would think it's Negan, and I thought maybe Wade is Wyatt, but don't know, didn't see his face. So, yeah. So when the chick faints, Daryl grabs the duffel bag and runs into the forest, finds a place to hide, and he's looking through it, and it's got insulin in it and his crossbow. They go back to Sasha and Abraham, and Sasha's saying like the best way to track a tracker is to wait for him to find you. And she steps in the mud, and then they go in. Like, she makes a big indent with one boot, and they walk off. She's not as crazy as she was in the previous season when she freaked out at the party. She snuck off and killed zombies by herself. She's normal Sasha now. She's kind of just chill, stone face almost. Abraham keeps wanting to kill zombies because Abraham is crazy, like we know. But they haul off into a office building, and she writes Dixon with a piece of charred wood or some kind of black thing. I guess charred wood because there was that fire by the forest. Or a rock, I don't know. So she wrote Dixon, and then they go inside. There's a zombie in a glass window kind of office building, and it's locked. And it said on the wall, like, I pray for the world to be cheerful, something the bite gets you. And they're just holed up there. Abraham walks around and he finds some form of military uniform, and it has medals, a whole bunch, and a picture on the wall, the guy's wife and kids, and him in the uniform. Not Abraham though. And him and Sasha can have a heart-to-heart about always being accountable for choices. Like, you have a house, you're like, basically saying like you have a choice. And we flash back to Daryl with his group of people, and he gave them back the insulin, the gun. They get into the standoff with Wade. They're kind of like, let's just go back, man. He said he just wanted a tail that's willing. So I'm thinking it's Negan's group, and Wade might be Wyatt, because as we know, Negan has many wives that want to be his wives. His power. But we don't know, so we'll find out probably mid-season, not mid-season finale, probably season finale. Because they still gotta take care of those wolves and the horde at their house. So they're walking in the forest, and they find a place where two kids they used to babysit, Tina and the other chick, and they're burned, and they're kind of like, this is my fault, because they used a car bomb. Basically, you puncture the gas hole, let the car drive down, and then you hit it with fire, and you make a car bomb, kablooey, to take care of the massive horde that was in the forest. And they do that stupid jump scare thing where the chick gets in the middle. This is the one with that needs the insulin, and she gets close enough, and it's gonna put some flowers, like she has dandelions, pretty much, the yellow ones, and she's gonna drop it down and say something nice, and then they clearly come out of the thing that was over him with glass and eat her face. Daryl kills her, the two zombies, and then they bury them, and Daryl's doing the recruiting thing with how many zombies have you killed, how many people have you killed, why? And he tells them he has a place that's safe, and it's with people that are like it was before, pretty much, for better or for worse. And then he takes them to where his bike was and says, I gotta meet my friends, and they have a car, so they'll be able to drive you. And he gets robbed and kind of punked. he gave him back the gun during the standoff and didn't get it back. So he gets robbed at gunpoint for his crossbow and his motorcycle. He then tells them they say sorry, and he says you're gonna be. And then they ride off on the bike, and he finds a kind of barrel type piece of, or not a barrel, but like a chunk of wood or a barrel buried under, not buried but slightly buried under dirt next to the zombie in the helmet that's burned and clearly flesh rotted away. And then he finds some bushes and reveals a big semi kind of pickup truck. You know, the big ones, not the semi truck, but the thick step down between semi truck. Gets in it, and then it does his tracking thing, and it shows Abraham in the military uniform, and tells Sasha, how about this? They're like, what do you think of this? And then they look out the window and like smile and laugh, and then it's Daryl driving the truck. And I thought, okay, how long till we see the people on the bike on the side of the road? And then he's calling on the radio for Rick. Silent. They have really shitty walkie-talkies, and I don't know how. But they're driving, and he's like, and then they hear a murmur, and he's like, say again. And then somebody says help. And that's how it ends. So we'll see what happens next week. I think we'll be back at Alexandria next week. I think there's just a few more, maybe 1 week before next week's mid-season finale. I don't know. But next week's the Sunday before Thanksgiving, so we'll see. If you're watching this right now, let me know what you think. Comment it up, like it up. Feel free to subscribe. I'd appreciate that.